Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Felix, and today I want to talk about something that I don't see a lot of people using, but it's an interesting option, especially for people who don't necessarily have access to certain centralized exchange platforms because of the lack of access to a VPN or just geofencing. Especially those of us in the States, we have a tough time accessing Bybit, Binance, etc. So what I'm going to talk about here is an opportunity to do leverage trading, long, short margin trading on chain. This is not financial advice, and frankly, personally, I need to tell you that leverage trading is the easy way to get wiped out. It's happened to me. I've been liquidated before using this platform. So with that said, I'm going to talk about some situations where I think it's appropriate to take out a short trade, especially in this bear market, and especially if you are holding assets you're trading against, at which point you're basically just hedging your funds, right? But all of those strategies are fairly advanced, so if you don't understand leverage trading, I recommend that you definitely do some research on that first, understand how to read charts, find some good technical analysts, and definitely get your feet wet slowly with something like this because the risk is high. All right, with all that said, let's get into it. GMX is available using either the Arbitrum or Avalanche blockchains. I prefer to use Avalanche because I already have more funds on the Avalanche blockchain. It's just personal preference. They have options to invest in their native tokens. Their tokens capture, some fee accrual from the actual trading fees. Personally, I just use this platform because it offers shorts and longs on margin on the chain, which I don't know where to find anywhere else other than PancakeSwap, which is also not available in the States. So let's take a look at what they got to offer here. You really only have the option to trade Avax, ETH, or Bitcoin. But in my opinion, it's actually not a bad idea to try to specialize and focus on a few charts. Obviously, Avax being the most volatile, Ethereum sort of being in its own little personal hell right now, and then Bitcoin probably being the most stable, the leading indicator of cryptos, the blue chip, right? Personally, I like to use Dex Screener to look at my charts. But for example, I keep Bitcoin up top. As I said, that's going to be the leading indicator. And then from there, you can see that the altcoins are most likely going to follow. For example, actually, if we look at this 1 hour Bitcoin chart here, we can see that it's just coming up to what was recently a support level and could now potentially become a resistance level. So that's this level around 21,200 here. We can see that it first bounced a little lower than this level, around 20K, kind of hung out above here, tapped this level once, came below this level, kind of tried to reclaim it as a support, failed, and now it's coming back up again to test it. It seems like a reasonable bet to say that this is going to be a resistance point for Bitcoin, right? Especially if news is bad from the Fed today, we could definitely see Bitcoin come down from here. So if I wanted to make a play on that using perhaps Avax, I would come over to the Avax chart, with the understanding that a lot of crypto is up, 7, 2, 3, 4% in the last hour. I think we're in a bear market. I think we might be in for some bad news. So I'm going to look at the Avax chart. It's doing a similar pattern as Bitcoin, obviously. It's coming up to this level here, which is probably more like right here, 1575. You can see it tap that as a support, came down below, failed to claim it. So it acted as resistance, and now we're going to see if it acts as resistance again, right? So if I wanted to make a short trade on that, I would come over here to GMX, and I definitely recommend you use the limit order. So if I take a look, where is this level here? It's about $16. I can make a limit order and say that I'm willing to pay $100 in USDC. I can adjust my leverage slider, which I'll get to in a second, but I think my target price here is going to be 1589 Avax, right? So I'm saying, as the price spikes up close to $16, open my short position at 1589 so that I have, more room to the downside. If it does hit 15 or in the 14s, that should be a good profit. I can increase my leverage up to 30x if I like, or just put it down to 1.1 or 2x. So I normally trade around 10 to 15x, which is high leverage, risky. And you'll see that's why I keep my orders fairly small, because there's a risk of liquidation when you say your leverage that high. But I'll just show you what that looks like at 30x. If I open my short at 1589, set a 30x leverage, my liquidation price is now 1626. So basically that's saying if it moves 35 cents up, lose my entire bet, right? My entire $100 trade is liquidated. If I set it down to 15, you can see now I have more margin for error. I don't get liquidated till 16.79, so that would have to be a dollar move to the upside. And of course, if I adjust this target price and I set it higher, then also my liquidation price gets higher. Also, obviously, less likely to open the trade. So that's how you would open a short. You can open a long much the same way using a limit order. You can also close it down here. This Avax short position that I opened yesterday, I'm going to go ahead and market close it right now. I already closed the majority of it just under $15, which is actually, you know, a much more profitable position to be closing at. I was wondering if we were going to keep going a fair bit lower this morning, but with the Fed coming out and speaking today, I see a lot of volatility. It's already down a whole lot in the last couple days, so I feel like this is a good time to just go ahead and close this. I did get, you know, closer to 100% gains on the part that I closed earlier this morning, but 40% still a healthy gain. So I'll take that, and I want to protect myself from potentially a breakout on the Bitcoin chart here. Strategically, I don't think it necessarily makes sense to just be taking out shorts. I know we're in a bear market, but like I just showed you, if you put 15x leverage on your trade, you risk getting liquidated with a move of like 1%. So it's an extremely easy way to lose even more money in a bear market. What I would recommend is that if you have a large holding or you're yield farming a layer 1 token like Avalanche or Bitcoin or ETH, then taking a small short out against your holdings in a way that, you know, maybe you're just 2-3x leverage, you're not going to get liquidated. And then, you know, if the value of your crypto goes down because the price of those coins goes down, the value of your short will go up to kind of balance it out. So that's one way that you can use shorts to just kind of hedge your crypto holdings. Another way, obviously, is if you have the skills, if you feel like you have a solid understanding of the trends, you can make sort of calculated bets by shorting resistance lines. Personally, I'm not an expert swing trader, so that's not something I do extremely often. But when I see what looks like an extremely strong resistance, I have had a little bit of a success recently by shorting those resistances on Avax and Ethereum especially. So I'll jump over to my trades real quick, show you guys some of the stuff I've done. These are my past orders on GMX. For example, here is actually a long trade that worked out pretty well. I longed Avax at a price of 16.06, and then I was able to close that long at a price of 16.90. So that was a decent 40-50% gain. Again, just on an extremely small trade over a short time frame. You can see that I only held this trade for about an hour and 30 minutes. So it's definitely something that you need to monitor, you need to be careful with. But if you feel like you have a good sense of the trends, you're watching the charts already, and you're just holding stuff that's going down, this is potentially, you know, a better alternative. It's on chain already. If you have funds in Avalanche, you don't need to worry about setting up a centralized exchange. So it's definitely something that I would check out if you're interested in trading in this way. All right, guys, and that's going to do it for me today. Thank you for checking this out. Like I said, potentially high-risk strategy, so definitely be careful. If you're interested in learning some more things you can do on chain, some interesting DeFi projects that I'm going to be profiling soon, and just generally some of these crypto strategies, please make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a video, and drop me a like. It only takes a second, and it means a lot for helping the channel grow. All right, thank you for tuning in. Take it easy.